The summer sun in Maplewood Estates was brutal that year. The kind that fried lawns into brittle, yellow straw within days. I had just finished installing a brand new smart sprinkler system. The kind that connected to Wi-Fi and adjusted watering schedules based on weather data. It wasn't cheap. But after years of fighting the HOA about my unattractive patchy lawn, it was worth every cent. I finally had emerald grass, until she noticed. Her name was Karen Donovan, president of the HOA. Unofficial queen of the cul-de-sac, and professional meddler. She lived across the street. In a 2-story colonial with identical beige siding and an obsession with community standards. She had written me up 6 times in 1 year, 4. Having a mailbox that was 2. Creative, a garden gnome she deemed non-compliant, and even 4. Leaving my trash bins out for 3 minutes too long. The woman treated HOA bylaws like sacred scripture. When my sprinklers went missing, I knew immediately who took them. It wasn't just that Karen's lawn was starting to brown. It was that she had been snooping around the day before. I caught her crouched near my yard, checking for code violations. I'd brushed it off. But that night, my camera caught movement, a figure with a flashlight. Crouched by my flower bed, wrench in hand. The footage wasn't crystal clear. But the chunky pearl bracelet she always wore gleamed under the light. By morning, the sprinkler heads were gone. My grass, deprived of water, began wilting by the hour. I marched across the street and knocked on her pristine white door. Karen answered with her usual saccharine smile, holding a clipboard. "Good morning, Dave. What brings you here?" "You know damn well why I'm here," I said, pointing toward her freshly damp lawn. Her smile faltered. "Excuse me. My sprinklers, they disappeared last night, and your grass is suddenly hydrated. What a coincidence." Her eyes narrowed. "Are you accusing your HOA president of theft?" "I'm saying I have video of someone matching your description. Trespassing on my property." Her face went pale, then tightened. "You'd better be careful with those accusations, Dave. Defamation is a serious matter. I'll be reporting you for harassment." She slammed the door in my face. I stared at her yard, the water glistening in the sun. She thought she'd won. She thought she could take what she wanted, as always. But that night, as the wind picked up and the temperature soared past 100, karma was about to strike, and it wouldn't come quietly. The first sign was the smell, sharp, acrid, unmistakable. It was just after midnight when I woke up, disoriented, blinking at the orange flicker outside my window. I rushed to the curtains and froze. Across the street, Karen's lawn was glowing like an inferno. Flames danced along the grass, crackling as they leapt toward her porch. The fire glowed against the night, and smoke billowed upward like a dark flag. For a moment, I stood there, stunned. Then my survival instincts kicked in. I dialed 911. Within minutes, the sirens wailed. Neighbors poured out in their pajamas, watching the chaos unfold. Karen stumbled out of her front door in a robe, hair wild, screaming into her phone. Her perfect suburban empire was literally on fire. The firefighters doused the flames before they reached the house. But the lawn, her pride and joy, was gone. Scorched black. The air still hot and heavy with the smell of melted plastic and burnt grass. When the smoke cleared, everyone whispered about how it started. I didn't have to guess. I walked to the curb. And there it was. A melted piece of my sprinkler head lying in the ash near her hose connection. It looked like it had short-circuited. My system was electric, designed to shut off automatically. But without the smart controller and proper wiring. It was just a live spark waiting for the right condition. Like dry grass and faulty tampering. Karen caught my eye from across the street. Her expression twisted into something between rage and panic. "This is your fault," she screamed, pointing at me. "You sabotaged me." "I couldn't help it," I laughed. "You mean the sprinklers you stole?" Her face went red as the fire truck's lights. The neighbors looked between us, murmuring. Someone whispered, "Did she really steal his sprinklers?" Another added, "He's got cameras." Karen turned to them, desperate. No. I was borrowing them to inspect the installation. It was a code issue. Even the firefighters paused. One of them, still holding the hose, muttered, "Ma'am, we found exposed wiring out here. You're lucky the fire didn't reach the house." Karen's voice cracked. "That's not mine." But everyone could see the melted bits of my brands. Sprinkler casing scattered on her lawn. She was done, and she knew it. The next morning, her HOA badge was gone from her porch. By the next week, the entire neighborhood was buzzing. The fire marshal came by to inspect the scene, clipboard in hand. Speaking in low tones with the insurance adjuster, Karen stood off to the side, sunglasses hiding her face, pretending not to hear the gossip floating around her. "Electrical malfunction," the marshal finally said, his tone neutral. "Seems like some kind of DIY wiring attempt went wrong. Could have been much worse." Karen's lips tightened. "That's ridiculous. I don't even do my own wiring. Someone must have tampered with it." He gave her a patient look. "Well, ma'am, these sprinkler heads, they're not installed to code. Whoever did this used mismatched components." I raised my hand from across the street. "You mean components stolen from another system, maybe?" He looked between us, then scribbled something on his notes. Karen glared daggers at me. The HOA meeting that week was tense. Karen, remarkably, still showed up, clutching her binder like a shield. The room was full, half the neighborhood had turned out, eager to see the fallout. When it was time for community concerns, I stood up. "I'd like to address the issue of theft and property damage," I began, keeping my tone even. "Someone removed equipment from my yard, which later caused a fire hazard on another property." Karen shot up. "Objection. This is character assassination." "It's factual," I said. "I have footage in the fire marshal's report." The room went silent. Then Mrs. Hanley, one of Karen's biggest allies, asked softly, "Karen, did you really take his sprinklers?" Karen's composure cracked. "It was for inspection. His system was too advanced, it violated water usage rules." Mr. Reeves, the HOA treasurer, frowned. "There are no such rules, Karen." I pulled out a printed photo from my camera footage and placed it on the table. "This is you, 11:47 p.m., flashlight in hand." Her mouth opened and closed. No words came. The silence stretched until the HOA vice president cleared his throat. "Effective immediately, we're voting on new leadership." The motion passed in under a minute. Karen's pen dropped from her hand. When the meeting ended, she avoided eye contact, storming out as whispers followed. I thought that would be the end of it, poetic justice served. But the thing about people like Karen is they never surrender. They plot. And her next move would make that fire look like a warm-up act. 2 months passed. The neighborhood cooled down, figuratively and literally. Karen's lawn was a charred wasteland. The HOA now run by level-headed people who actually believed in fairness. I was happy, for a while. Then small things started happening again. My mail went missing. My trash cans got knocked over. Someone smeared mud on my car windshield. Petty stuff, classic Karen tactics. She'd been stripped of power, but not her obsession. One evening, I noticed her crouched by her burnt yard, planting something. Rows of little green shoots. "Starting over," I called. She didn't look up. "Unlike some people, I take pride in my home," she said coldly. A few weeks later, her grass looked surprisingly lush again. Rumor was, she'd found some miracle fertilizer online. I didn't think much of it until a strange chemical smell wafted across the street. One windy afternoon, as kids biked past, Karen stormed out yelling, "Not again." I turned, her lawn was smoking again. Flames raced across the grass, this time faster, fueled by whatever concoction she'd poured into the soil. The firefighters came, again. When the smoke cleared, the fire chief shook his head. "Ma'am, you mixed fertilizer with gasoline runoff. It's basically tinder." Karen burst into tears, shouting that someone had sabotaged her. But everyone had seen her pouring jugs of fertilizer the day before. That night, as I watered my thriving green lawn with my new sprinkler system, I watched her sit on her porch steps, defeated. The HOA had fined her for reckless property damage, and the insurance company refused her claim due to negligence. For the first time, she didn't look furious, just small. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. As I turned off my sprinklers, a flicker caught my eye, the reflection of the water shimmering on my camera lens. It had caught everything again. From the fire to her frantic attempts to blame everyone but herself. Karma had done what no HOA rule ever could, balance the scales. I smiled, heading inside as the night settled. The sprinklers hissed softly behind me, soaking my perfect green lawn, and somewhere in the darkness, Karen's burned grass smoldered in silence.